What's going on, team? Proof here, and today we have a deck showcase of me playing 7 Seas in V Premium, and this is actually the first deck in the series where I haven't had prior experience playing it. So I came in this very fresh, very raw, and really got down to trying to figure out and understand what the deck is trying to do without reaching out to other people, because that's kind of what I wanted to accomplish with this, with me learning new decks and try to go at it my own way and learn the deck over time and kind of see my improvement with it. So as always, I'm going to talk about the deck a little bit and then go into some replays, kind of demonstrating myself playing from going first, going second, and show a replay with that's either interesting or something to learn from it for those who might be interested in wanting to play the deck themselves. So 7 Seas as a deck centers around you playing Night Mist, because what you want to do is that you want to collect treasure tokens along the way, and all of the 7 Seas units have an on-hit ability that says when it hits, gain a treasure token, and the payoff for that is through Night Mist here, which says of course when it hits you gain a treasure token, and he has a continuous ability that does something as you collect more treasure tokens. So if you have 1 or more treasure tokens, all of your rear guards with 7 Seas can attack or intercept from the back row. And then if you have 3 or more, all of your 7 Seas units gets plus 5,000 power. And then if you have 6 or more, he gains an auto ability that is at the end of the battle that it attacked, all of your rear guards with 7 Seas in their name stand. So ideally you want to collect your 6 treasure tokens, and then you want to have what is it, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, have 11 attacks over the course of a turn, because you can attack with all of them with the power, restand everybody, and then attack again after Night Mist has done his thing. So how you achieve that is through having 7 Seas card names, of course, but the deck really got a big buff in the V Clan collection with the help of Aguchi Voyage and through Night Haze here. So Aguchi Voyage is like the 7 Seas version of Undead Dragon, because Undead Dragon gets power for all your cards in your drop zone. Aguchi here gains plus 3,000 power for all of your 7 Seas in your drop zone or bind zone. So what you want to do, you want to churn through your deck really fast as possible, of course, and get a whole bunch of 7 Seas in your drop zone and just fill up your board with Voyages and then ride him off into the sunset. So how you achieve that is in part through Night Haze, which is the other card from the most recent clan collection, and you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and then you pick one to put it to your hand, which is good for trying to find Night Mist or other pieces to help you mill and fill your board up with power, and then you put the rest to your drop zone, which can then feed into your other 7 Seas abilities. And then also to facilitate that is Night Spinel, be able to get cards back to your board, maybe another Night Haze. And Night Spinel and Haze are really your only forms of counterblasting in the deck, so you can spam these as long as you have the deck to do so. And then another power payoff card is Slash Shade. It just gains 15,000 power if you have a marker on that particular circle. And then we have Night Crow, which mostly useful for the on-hit ability if you're going second and you have them as your first Vanguard. You can use the drop ability if you need to fill out your if you need the shield value. Maybe Night Spinel or Haze on your rear guard circle isn't enough to help you survive, so you can put Crow out there. It could be a flexible attacker or booster, and depending on what you need it for. So that's really cool. Then we have Rise Tutor. I never really read the name before, and this is useful early game because you can put one of your treasure tokens on the circle, and then it can intercept from the back row after you've boosted with it, and then after that you can still intercept freely as long as you have the ability from Night Mist active, which isn't hard because that's the one where you only have 1 or more. And then to fill out the rest of the deck, because every other card in here is 7 Seas, these are all of the V Premium 7 Seas cards, we needed 1 other card to fill the void using Negrabone. And what it does is that when it's in your drop zone, it's basically find Slash Shade, Aguchi, whichever 7 Seas you need for that situation. And then you can put it to the bottom of the deck, which can help prevent deck out in some situations as well. And then I play 8 crit, 4 draw, and then of course the heal guards. And then we have Night Runner here, which is another consistency piece for your 7 Seas engine, because you can bind it, which works with Voyage, and then you can add a card back to your hand long as it's not a Night Runner. So a lot of the pieces here are just consistency engines to help you fill out your board with voyages or slash shades and then go to town. So that'll do it for the quick deck overview. Let's go ahead and get into the replays. All right, so this is the first replay. This is actually me going second. And the reason I wanted to use this replay first is because this is where the whole idea behind the deck started to click for me. And I was like, oh, this is what it's trying to do. Because this is my 5th game with it. And it was a lot of bumps and bruises along the way to get to this point. But this is where I started to understand what was really happening here. So I have 2 Night Mists, 2 Night Hazes, and a Slash Shade. Current me would, what I would do, I would ship off the Slash, the extra Night Mist, and a Haze to try and find a grade 1, especially going second. You want to find at least a 7 Seas grade 1. Yeah, you only have 1 non-7 Seas grade 1, but you would rather not ride it, especially going second, because that's a potential on hit for your treasure token. So give yourself at least max odds of doing it and for ride consistency. So I actually kept the Slash Shade, so that was greedy on my part. And I'm going against Jewel Knights. So they're going to Jewel Knights after G assist here, and I find a Night Crow, ship off the PG and the Spinel, and now I ride it. And just, where were y'all? So I do get the treasure token here, which is useful for the Slash Shade the following turn. So my opponent just rides up. I take the damage here because I want to keep it for Night Haze. So then I ride the Night Haze, and then I'm not really looking for like a Night Mist in particular. So any type of consistency piece would be good here. So I haze and I see Slash Shade, another Haze, and then the Rise Tutor. I believe what I would do now is take the Slash Shade here and try to load up with double Slash Shade in the front row. Yep, that's what I do. That's what I do in the past too. And then I swing, boost it here. My opponent guards 1 to pass. Attack here. They guard this for 15k, and this can't hit because Force Vanguard power. So that's one of the things that you notice is just because of the constant on hit pressure from the 7 Seas units, it makes your opponent potentially play differently because they don't want to give you a lot of benefits from the on hits early on and then try to take it later on when your Night Mist is already rolling. So then they can take the damage and you can accumulate the treasures there, but they're not in as much danger so soon. So I think it's interesting. They ride Ashley Reverse here. That gets retired. So Ashley Reverse is scary because a lot of the Jewel Knights can just put cards on the soul, so it's not super difficult to get the 3 lined up for the Sentinel restrict. So me playing Protect.deck means that I really don't want to play into the Sentinel restrict, so likely I'll be going Protect 2 here. So in this swings, what I try to do, I try to keep my damage low because this is going to attack for 2 crit, and I don't want to be at high damage before that comes down. So then this swings, those retire, call out 2 more, call out 2 Leleys, take this on the chin, hit the draw trigger, and then by keeping my damage low, I can still find the heal triggers, so that's helpful. Do hit double trigger here. I ride Night Mist. I do go Protect 2. I put it in the back because Ashley Reverse can only retire front row. So putting it in the back row means all of my grade 1s have 20k shield. If I remember correctly, a 20k shield, which might be handy for an attack at some point. I'll play another Haze here. I get a Raise Tutor. I believe what I would do now that at the time I didn't realize that all my counter blashes went into Haze and Spinel. What I would do now is I would take this other Night Haze here and then try to get some more pieces into the drop zone. Play Runner, grab back the Voyage, play the Voyage, play the Raise Tutor back here, and then play the other Voyage back here. If I did get the if I did grab back the Night Haze, I could have filtered more cards into my drop zone, and these could have been much more threatening. So then I swing this column into the Lele to get my second treasure marker. And then Voyage goes face, because then this is a 30k block to stop it, or a PG. Both of these are actually. So now I got my third treasure token, and now with the third treasure token, I have the full ability of Night Mist active for, not the full ability, but the 3 ability to give my units plus 5k power. Then this touches for 4th. They do power up the Lele here, so I swing into it. So now I have 5 treasure tokens going into my opponent's turn 4. So now I'm just trying to survive to make sure that I'm good to go for my turn, because I likely will be able to get to 6 treasure tokens now. So once again, with all the soul charging that the Jewel Knights can do, not too difficult to get back to having 6 soul necessary for Ashley Reverse's ability. But since I have to take it here and hope that they don't find a critical trigger for their twin drive here. So that's really all you can do, because it's going to be attacking for 53. No shot I can protect 53 from hand. So now this attacks for 23, which is annoying, because then I had to use my big guard here. So it kind of is what it is, but that's why you go protect 2 in this matchup, because you might need it for this here. Call out 2 more, and then pray. So they hit a heal, which is still bad, but not as bad as them hitting a crit. So I can actually survive the attack here. And then I keep the Night Runner in hand because it helps me get more voyages down. So as does finding another one off rip. So draw that. I do get Spino back, because Spino just gives me a front row unit that can pressure. Play another Voyage here. Filter 2. And then grab my 3rd Voyage out. But this, I feel like this is the best I could do. People who are more experienced with 7 Cs can let me know down below if I could have done that better. But at the time, this is what I thought was best. And then I had, I think, 17 7 Cs here based off of my rewatching the replay prior. So 68. And then this one was 73 from being on Protect 2. So likely one of these are touching. And then they'll restand for additional attacks here. And then this is where it gets really scary. If you have like a full back row of these, or the dream of having all 4 of these out, and you have your 6 treasures, then you just pretty much you win the game on the spot. I don't think there's any deck that can survive all of that in one go, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attacks with 50, 60, 70,000 power, which is incredible. So that's me playing the deck going second when things started to click. I'm gonna come back with another replay. All right, this is a game of me going first against Steam Maiden. So knowing that I'm going first, I have Spino and I have Night Mist. I really don't like keeping a Gucci in hand unless I already have my secure ride, but in this case I don't. And this is a game where I was trying out 2 draw triggers, or 2 additional draw triggers for 6-6 split. I would advise sticking to 7. I'm sorry, sticking to 8, but I wanted to try it out for science sake. So that's what they're here for. So I do ship back those 3, and I do find a card that I can ride successfully. I feel like it would have been better for me to ride the Night Crow and then keep the Rise Tutor in hand, because then I could have called it back here and put the first treasure token here for any intercept needs if I needed it to. That's just a sequence thing that I think is important to know. Take it to keep my Night Spino alive. Night Spino will get Runner, and then I chose not to use it here, as opposed because I didn't really have any other play that I really wanted to go for. Take this on the Chin Chin. So then I rip the haze off top, and I'm able to use it to double up. I have a choice selection here. I got pure gas off of this. I don't think I need a 3rd Night Mist. A Gucci can always come back later. I have another Night Haze here in case I wanted to grab it, and another Voyage here. I think what I would do now, I think I would take the, since I have the Runner in hand, I think I would take the Night Haze here, just try to make my drop zone bigger, and then bring back a Voyage. Nope, I took a Voyage. But I don't think either one was really more correct than the other, because in here I get a lot of Voyages out. I think, did I have a third one in there? Not at the time. I think I was digging for Slash Shade as well, just to give myself another unit that could be useful on Rearguard Circle. I do hit a heal, which is clutch. Then I do hit another Voyage. Hit the heal, and then these are attacking for 30, so which are still pretty threatening as well. So I end the turn with 3 treasure tokens just chilling. So I'm on my way. I'm on the fast track to getting up to 6. But Steam Maidens here are scary because with more counterblast, they can churn through their deck with combos. So I really wanted to try to keep my damage low for their successive attacks. However, my opponent played Amusement's Colossus, because what it does, which does well with the Steam Maiden deck, what it's trying to accomplish, is that you can bind a card from your hand, and then it forces me to have to guard with 2 cards from hand. So this is really helpful, having these units in the back row that can intercept, because these guard for 10k shield, which is relevant in the case where only 1 force circle, and these are low power attacks early on. So it helps me save my hands, that way I don't have to burn as much. So my opponent starts attacking, and then I believe I just guard from back row to save myself the hand from the Colossus. They use one of their abilities to call out a Lul here, and then it can keep swinging. I intercept with the Haze for a 5k shield, and then the Vanguard ability allows them to call out a Lul, or Ilu, I don't know their names. And then they call out Itarana here, call out the cat, and this is their advantage engine. So I take this one, and then Vanguard swings, and I take this one here. No triggers, which is good. I hit another heal, so I protect Voyage here, because I really didn't have other means of calling it out in my hand currently from drop. So protect it for the future, and then I can just safely take this attack here and go to 4. Restand, and then I re-ride. I do go protect 1 in this matchup because I don't have the fear of Sentinel Restrict. And then I just try to make columns here, and then make these as big as possible, because I really don't have the means of calling out other stuff like I mentioned before. And then I start rearguard hunting here because I want this off the board, and my opponent protects it a lot. And since they were so diligent on protecting it, I wanted to keep their hand low and their damage capped, because I wanted to prevent the restand shenanigans, or the call from buying shenanigans, which is limited by counterblast. Granted, with the ability of the Vanguard, they are able to go into Colossus here to bind a card. So now I'm back in a battle door situation, which is something I don't think I anticipated when I was doing my previous turn. But I do survive thanks to the fact that I had them on limited counterblast, and by limiting their counterblast and reducing their hand down because of my own hit pressure with my big Voyages, I'm now in a position to where their hand is low and my horrors are huge. So then likely I'll get my 6 treasure token and then combo out like I did previously. As in the previous game that I showcased. Now my Voyages are 53k. Big ships. So they do heal, however, my Night Mist hadn't swung yet, so now the team restands. And by these being in the column, they can be flexible attackers and boosters like I talked about in the deck preview. So I was able to win that game off the back of rearguard hunting to limit their counterblast, to then limit their plays, and then go into my turn 4 and then try to combo out that way. So that'll do it for the games going first and going second. Now I'm going to show a game where I think is something interesting or something important to learn from. All right, so this is a game of me going second against Angel Feather. And what I think what I did here, or what I would do now, was return the Heel Guard, the Negro Bone, and one of the Rise Tutors to try to find myself a grade 3 that I can use, which I do. I found my Night Mist. So big benefit of going second, like we talked about before, is having a Night Mist, or sorry, having a 7 Seas Vanguard to touch and try to get that early treasure token for potential Slash Shade, or have it in the back row for potential Rise Tutor. I top deck the Haze here Now bring back a Night Runner, call out the runner and then the slash shade over here. Hit a crit. So we're sitting pretty right now. My opponent uses the heal guard to buff up their Vanguard power. Important to note, if your opponent uses a heal guardian and they reduce your crit down, but the power isn't more than, or the combination of shield plus your opponent's Vanguard power isn't more than the 7Cs unit, you still activate the hit ability, just that if you have negative critical or 0 critical, you don't deal damage, but you still process the on hit to get yourself a treasure token. So interesting ruling thing to keep in mind. So opponent goes into Sniper Nociel, do some shenanigans. They're trying to get 4 of these into their damage zone to give their units plus 5k power for each one that's in the damage zone. That's basically the idea behind the Nociel deck. I take this hit. I don't know if that was right or not, because I do have Night Spinels in hand to use, but this can restand. So I guess take the first one, as is the rule with the restanders. If you're gonna block one, block both. If you're gonna take one, take the first one and then guard the second one, which is what I did here. Ride into Night Mist, go protect one against my opponent being a restanding Vanguard. So I play Spinel, and then I legit only have 2 Night Hazes in the drop. So my drop zone isn't coming together nicely, but it's decent enough, I guess, to make Voyage okay big. It's currently only plus 6,000 power, but I do have Night Runner around to try to make that a little bit bigger. Questions, do I use it? So I use that, again, another runner, so I net negative, or I net neutral. Oh no, it's additional, yeah, it's additional 3k because one goes to bind. Give crit back here to then make one of these hit, make one of these threatening. So now I have the 3 treasure token ability live. Since my opponent hit the trigger power, these can't touch anymore. So maybe that was inefficient setup, but also I didn't have any other grade 1s to really use with it. So my opponent lines up 4 Nociel grade 0s and damage. Now all their units are plus 20k power during the turn. So I basically took a damage here. I can't remember if I shuffled or not, but these restand because they're at 5 damage. 5 face up Nociel. It's disgusting. And then they swing into here. So now I can play another Haze, grab a Night Runner. All that goes to the drop. Play a runner. I'm digging desperately for another Voyage, and I'm just not finding it. Just not finding it. I got one here, one on the board, none elsewhere. So the last 2 are in the last 9 cards in my deck, and I just could not find them, which would have made life a whole lot easier for me for trying to proc this my 6 treasure token combo. So I discard the Night Mist for Negrabone. Then what I call out here, call out another runner just to dig a couple more, and I was successful. So I made use of Bone, the best to what I thought was the best, and then just get another horror out here. Horror, why do you want to call it a horror? I don't know. Keep another Voyage out here. So this is where I came into talking about, or this is why I wanted to bring up this game here, because as you saw in the Steam Maiden game, I was successful rearguard hunting my opponent's rearguards, but I think my order of operations here left something to be desired. So I used my big Voyage here to swing here, but my opponent has 2 PGs, and I think what may have been better is use these night shades up here, these slash shades up here, because each one of these requires 2 cards to guard. These are going to touch or force a PG. These are more likely to get more stuff out of the way early. And I could have feasted on this unit here because this is 7k. because no new cards go onto their, and only active during their turn. So this, by being a 7K, means that 20K shield isn't enough and he's 25K shield. So I could have went Slash Shade over here to force a hit, Slash Shade over here, because if this one hit, or if this one hit, I would go to 4, and then I would have 1, 2, 3, 4 attacks to try to get 2 more treasure tokens. So I think by using this first to go here was a mistake. But again, more experienced 7Cs players can chime in into the comments to let me know if that thought process is correct. But me now, I would have done that differently. I would have done this differently, I should say. But this one touches, so I do go to 5. But now these attacks here aren't as big to make this not as threatening. So now this can guard for 2 cards. It just allowed my opponent to guard in such a way to where they could chance this 1 to pass with me having, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 triggers out. So I needed to hit the last trigger in my deck to break the 1 to pass and win the game. So a 1 out of 8 isn't fantastic odds. So I feel like I could have done that differently. Now my opponent top decks into Jaffikel, and they set up a board that's more threatening than I can reliably deal with. And I believe they hit the crit trigger off of the rescue check. So this, I had to guard it, and then it restands anyway. So ended up losing that game. I think I could have done that a little bit better. Let me know down below how you would have handled it, or if a 7Cs player can chime in, let me know how you would have handled that. So before I wrap it up, normally I do 3 replays with this, but since I came into this deck cold, I thought it'd be fun to do a 4th bonus game to kind of show where I started and look at it from my lens now, 20 some odd games later, to see how I would have handled it differently going, or how would I handle it differently now with me having a little bit more experience with the deck. So we'll go check that replay out. This is me going first against Dauntless. So I keep Voyage, I keep Nightcrow, and then I actually find some pretty decent cards off top. This is giving me a secure ride if I don't find Night Mist. So then I ride Negrabone, I believe. So that was a good call there, because keep this for later, and this is not fantastic in my hand. At least that's how I perceive it now. They ride, I take it, which is cool because it unlocks my counterblast. And then I ride Night Spinel. I don't know why. Now, this is just me being inexperienced with the deck. What I should have done, of course, is ride Night Haze and then dig 5 cards for the best card to put into my hand. Ideally, I would find a Night Mist for the following turn. So hit 2 triggers. So this Night Spinel just neg, or no plus ability here, and then I try to get the trigger. Try to get my treasure token off of here as opposed to putting it behind Vanguard. I may have been better back here playing against Kagero. What can you do? Take this one on the chin to unlock Night Haze. I ride Voyage, and then I go Protect 2 for some reason against Kagero, which can just retire the dude, especially with this card here, because when it's rode upon, you retire my rear guard anyway and then draw a card. So I just gave them prime real estate target to pop. Again, mistake by me. Now I use the Haze skill. Something I didn't bring up was Voyage has another ability which I never really used in my testing. I wasn't comfortable using the remove treasure token ability from Voyage at all to try to call out other units. Not sure when the best timing of that would be, but maybe that would have applied in some of my other games. Set this up to try to just get my treasure tokens up. My opponent uses their heal guard as expected, and then so I end the turn with 2 treasure tokens, and they go into Dauntless, pop my dude on Protect 2, and then they go swinging. But since I did not Protect 1, I didn't have the additional card, so now they have I'll restand in Vanguard with the crit, which then I'm in a position to where I need to protect myself now. So I'm just down a card in the process. And then I'll guard that one, and they're able to draw. So now I'm in turn 4. 2 tokens, not much really to do. My runner hits 2 triggers. And then I believe what I should get here, I grabbed that, not sure why. I should have grabbed Haze here, or Slash Shade, or Spinal, anything other than those 2. Oh, I did use the ability to get my right as I say it, I used it in my very first game. I guess that would have been, I guess that was a good call here, since I had nothing else really to use my trader tokens on, because I couldn't find Night Mist for the life of me. So now my opponent's at 4. They go into Overlord Rebirth, and as long as they don't check a heal, as long as they don't check a heal, they have 3 Vanguard attacks coming at me. And then I lose my 2 front rows again. So took an L. Obviously there was much better things that I could have done to get myself through that game, but I just thought it'd be cool to kind of show where I came from, and then you can kind of see how we got to where we are now. So where we started at the end, then show where we got to in the beginning. It makes sense somehow. So yeah, that'll do it for me. I hope you enjoy. I'll leave a link to the deck down below for those who are interested to download it and play it on CFA. And yeah, that'll do it for me. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you for the stats video tomorrow. Peace. Be easy.